Okay, well, on the time machine project for today, Saturday, what's today, the 3rd of December. Scott was over here doing his thing. Did some of this yesterday, some of it today. You see, he's got on this project that we've been showing you here, he did all his layout for mounting the fuel tank and supporting it by the chassis instead of supporting it by the floor the way the factory did. So in order to do that, you see he's got a piece of tubing and he had the ends of it bent. He did all his layout and he had the ends of it bent. And yesterday he cobbled that up so it would fit across the frame rails in the back. That's the rear cross member. The front, they showed you that I think earlier. That one there with the two angles on the end, that's the front cross member. And then between that, to actually go over the top of the tank, and the straps that hang the tank will attach to this rectangular tubing you see all clamped in here. So he's got that fabricated today and ready to weld. So you see it goes to the rear cross member here, and it slopes up in the front to the front cross member. And the tank, again, according to the layout that he did on the floor, the tank will live about, I think it's about 1.5 inches behind the furthest most part of the pumpkin here. Like I said, he's actually has to make a little more access in the floor for the fuel lines, the sender, the pump, all that stuff goes in the top of the tank now that it's going to get an LS motor, and that's back a little further than the opening he made in the floor now. He's going to have to create an access door there. So anyway, again, that's as far as I got today. See you. Here's one of those tank support pieces. See with the angle on that end and the angle on that end. He wants to do a little more welding on this for aesthetics, basically. It's welded enough for strength. Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage. Well, it is December 12th. It's that time of year again. Ho, ho, ho. It's the one time of year where it's acceptable to be old because you give expensive gifts. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone. We've been here working on these things a bit this last week. Scott's been working on his pretty consistently. I haven't been doing as much on this. Been busy with Christmas, you know, decorating and all that other good stuff. Anyway, so Scott's made nice progress on his fuel tank mounting. That was his latest. You see it's hanging here now. I showed you some of this in a previous clip. You see there's the strap coming down to the tank. That's how that fastens up there. Hope you can see this okay. See, I can give you a little zoom. You see he welded the 3/8 thick piece to the rectangular tubing, drilled and tapped it, and the strap bolts to that. Again with a 1/8 inch piece as a backer, you know, a strengthening hunk there, and then the strap goes under the tank. Comes to the back, bolts up to, he put another tab on the strap. See, he made a right angle tab on the strap right there with his you see the end, the way he treats the end. Anytime you see a plate or a backup piece or anything on this car, it's got that shape to it, that end shape to it. So he used it here on the strap. Again, mounted to the tubing. What he did on the tubing is he took a piece of 3/8 rod, round stock, made it 3/4 of an inch long, drilled a hole in the center of it, tapped the whole 3/4 inch length, and then in the tubing, drilled the tubing and welded that bung. Essentially is what he did, is he created a threaded bung, welded that 3/4 inch long threaded piece into the tubing, through the tubing. So he did that, 2 places. So it's, again, very strong. Not a critical length on the bolt that way, because the bolt can go right through it. So anyway, the tank is mounted. So you notice there's an extra hole in the floor because there was a little nub or something in the floor or on the tank. I'm not sure which that was hitting. This floor is probably going to get replaced because, as you see, there's a big hole in it here for coilover access, and the front cross member that creates the tank support. So there's a big hole in the floor there. There's another hole in the floor here. On top of the tank, you need to have access for the fuel pump and the fuel lines. So very likely the trunk floor is going to get made over. So next step now is going to be finishing the rear sway bar. That has to go. You see there's a body mount up there. It needs to have a mount of some sort that end of the sway bar will mount to. And the same thing on this end. This end of the sway bar will mount to. So the same thing on both sides. So that's going to be next. There is a front sway bar, I think, on its way here. That'll be much easier to deal with. It's one of the typical type that mount underneath the frame horn on each side in the front, and then go back and hit the A-arm. See, there's already a mount on the A-arm, so that one will be way easier. A mount on each frame horn, and then hang the bar, and the bar then will have the linkages going in. Now, hello everyone. It's welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage, first of all, and it is December 26th. Closing in on 2022, aren't we? Closing in on the end of 2022, aren't we? So I thought I'd show you I think is probably the extent that Scott's going to get on the time machine for 2022. He's been working on the finishing touches of the fuel tank in its altered location, in its new location. See, there it is. It's very similar, very close to where it was before. Previously, it was over almost against this frame rail. And it was hung, it was supported by the trunk floor. Essentially what he's done at this point, since we removed the spare tire well, essentially what he's done at this point is to center the tank and also support it from the chassis instead of the trunk floor. This is where this project, I believe, is going to end for 2022. He may get something else done the last few days of the year, but it's going to be something minor, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, like I said, that's it on this one for the end of this year. So we will be talking to you again in 2023. Happy New Year, everyone. Bye. Almost forgot to show you the filler pipe. So again, that comes out of the factory location on the tank. Like I said, the tank used to be probably 4 or 5 inches over closer to the frame rail. But the outlet for the fuel pipe was in the same place. It got lengthened. It's probably got lengthened 3 or 4 inches. So that's about the amount the tank got moved on this end. And on this end, it had to get modified a bit too. But up there where the hose is, I think he added a piece of an elbow to make the right angle. And a little straight piece as well. So the fill pipe, like I said, the fuel tank now is done. It's complete. So actually it's ready now. If you were to I mean, the rest of the system up to the motor isn't complete, but the tank itself, you could actually put fuel in this tank at this point. Anyway.